Again, this is another political report. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll try to keep putting out videos, updating you with information, insight that I find most interesting. I find that is very, very unique and needed to be heard by the general public. I want to talk about today the general election. Whoever is the Democratic nominee, the whole election is going to come down to the Rust Belt states, I believe, of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. In 2016, Donald Trump was the first Republican presidential candidate to win those three states in like the last 20 to 25 years, which is kind of actually amazing. What really was interesting, that it was so close. He actually lost the popular vote by over 3 million votes. But as you know, in the United States, it's all about the electoral college and getting to 270 votes, 270 electoral college votes. And those upper Midwest, he was able to turn a lot of those Obama hardworking blue collar workers into Trump voters. And also on top of that, Hillary Clinton wasn't the most popular candidate or most liked candidate, so turnout in the minorities communities in like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and like Detroit, Michigan was down such to a percentage that Trump was able to win. I think it's going to be really interesting and really close again. I think election night's going to come down to 1, 2 in the morning, and it's going to be really close, one or two states. My biggest thing that I'm seeing just looking at the election map and looking at current polls, I really do think it's going to come down to Wisconsin in the end, which is either going to put him over the top or cause Trump to lose the election to any Democrat. As you saw in 2018, Tony Evers, who's a very big liberal, I consider kind of like a socialist character, he won Wisconsin. He was able to beat the incumbent Scott Walker, which kind of amazed a lot of people. I think it's a unique experience, though. I think that's not always the main thing. I think you got to remember Scott Walker. A lot of people think he lost that election due to the problems he had with the school unions and not being able to pay the school teachers properly, and that caused him to lose a lot of votes. Just looking at the electoral map, it really switched. I think the Democrats who they can effectively run will be very interesting. I think if Bernie Sanders wins, it will be a completely different election for like what a swing voter actually looks like. Because Sanders, a lot of hardworking middle class people are very attracted to Sanders because of him trying to always going against Washington and pushing, taking care of the working class people in this country, giving them health care, making sure they're guaranteed health care. So I think it's a very different swing voter than if it was a moderate Democrat. Obviously, every Democrat has their problems. Every Democrat has weaknesses that Trump can exploit. Because I always say the biggest thing that Trump is effective at, he is maybe one of the greatest campaigners ever. He knows how to go out there and go on TV and entertain a crowd and get people fired up. And his voters, no matter what, 60 to 61 million people are going to show up and vote for him. I also think it's very unique looking at the vote totals. He could actually lose by 5 million more votes, lose by 5 million votes instead of 3 million votes, because California he lose more votes and he could still win the presidency. I think this time it's going to be a lot closer because the Democrats are not going to run to someone that it was as hated as Hillary Clinton. So I think you really got to watch that. Obviously, Florida usually is a swing state, but Trump has done really well there the last election, and I think it's a very big lock for the Republicans. Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, and he's actually done really well there, and his approval rating is like 70 to 80%. It's through the roof. So I think that swing state is not as much a swing state anymore. Obviously, Ohio, Trump won by 8 to 10 points last time, so that's obviously not a swing state anymore. Neither is Iowa, which he won by probably 6 to 8 points. Obviously, it's a whole different thing. Barack Obama was a political legend. He kind of ran. He was such a popular figure. He would win some of these elections by 6, 7, 8 million votes, and he won North Carolina, which went to Trump. He won Ohio. He won Iowa. He won Florida. Because he was able to have such a broad coalition of minorities, working class people, Democratic establishment, Hollywood. He had the whole breadth. And I think the biggest thing for Democrats is you got to have someone that inspires people and that's able to bring a broad coalition out to vote. And this time, I think it's just going to come really close because Democrats are not going to take Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania for granted anymore. They're going to send people in there, and they're really going to campaign hard. I really think this is going to be a really close election, and it's going to come down to voter turnout. Both campaigns, and the Trump campaign has an amazing digital outreach. They're able actually to track house by house where the votes are coming with all their digital programming, and their $200 million war chest. What's amazing too is the spending differential. The Republican National Committee and Trump's campaign team have over probably $190 million, while the DNC only has about $8 million in the bank, which they're draining a lot of money. They don't have the money. That's why a lot of Democrats have been excited about Mike Bloomberg getting in the race, because he has endless amounts of money. By the end of this, he said he could spend over $2 billion, and he's going to keep. He has over 2,000 paid staff and people in all these states campaigning, and he says he's going to leave them there till the election to beat Trump. So I really think it's going to be a really, really interesting race. I also think it's going to be one of the nastiest races in the last 20 or 30 years. I think it's going to get very hostile, very competitive, and I think it could be a damaging thing to the country. But hopefully you can hope for the best. Hopefully it's a hard, fought race, and I really think on election night 2020, November 3rd, 2020, it's going to come down right to the end, and it's going to be a very, very close election. So that's my report for the week. Hopefully, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on the next video.